The wise words from Barry in the Bee Movie. So you like jazz? Maybe you like a little honey on your cornbread or honey mustard with dipping those chicken nuggets. A lot of people like to send flowers to their sweethearts. All those have something to do with honeybees. I am here today to talk to you a little bit more about bees. I've done a lot of research about them and I've always enjoyed the outdoors. Why are bees so important? I don't know, they're really annoying buzzing bees that sting. But according to Stephanie Kennedy at Sustain, a UK food advocate, she states that globally there are more honeybees than other types of pollinating insects. So it is the world's most important pollinator for food groups. It is estimated that 1/3 of the food that we consume each day relies solely on pollination from bees. With around 80% of the US crops said to be dependent on honeybees, they also pollinate alfalfa and clover, which trickles down to feeding cattle and can be added for meat and dairy industry. A bee colony consists of worker bees, drones, and the queen. The worker bees are all female that are non-childbearing. They live between 6 to 8 weeks, and there is normally between 20 to 80,000 worker bees. They are also the smallest bees in the entire colony. The drones are all males. They only are there just to mate with the queen, and there's usually between 100 to 200 for each colony. The queen, of course, lives the longest, between 2 to 3 years, and she is fertile her entire life. She can lay between 1,500 to 2,000 eggs per day. Once the worker bees are fully grown, they will go out to get nectar for making honey. When they do this is when they do the pollinating. When they do the pollinating, pollen will get stuck to them, and when they go to the next flower, it ends up being transferred to the next flower's stigma, which is the female reproduction of the flower and helps with making more flowers. They can travel 6 miles at 15 miles per hour. Most of them will stay around close to home though, between 3 to 6 miles, and they can visit between 50 and 100 flowers per day. See, it's pretty tired, hard work. When the bees is filled with all of the nectar and ready to go back home, they transfer their nectar to another worker bee, which is a homing bee, and that bee will place the nectar into an empty honeycomb slot. Once it's completely packed in, they will dry the nectar with their wings. And then when it's fully dry, they seal it up with beeswax. This is how your honey is made. They use this to eat during the winter months because they do not hibernate. Humans use honey, beeswax, royal jelly, propolis, and venom from all of these bees. The use for this is diabetics, sores, for surgeries, and even shrinking tumors. The food that they pollinate is pumpkins, squash, almonds, apples, blueberries, and my favorite, coffee. They also pollinate cotton, which is, the clothes that you are wearing. Unfortunately, the bees are on a massive decline. Environment America interviewed a beekeeper, Dave Schutt, who stated he lost 37 million bees due to pesticides. He stated that once the corn started to get planted, our bees died by the millions. The United States Environmental Protection Agency stated that there is a colony collapse disorder within the bee colonies. This phenomenon leaves all of the worker bees gone, missing, or died, and only the queen bee and a few nursing bees left behind. Some of the reasons for this is pesticides, stress, changes in the habitat, such as construction, or nutrition changes. The newest threat to our poor honeybees are these Asian murder hornets. I watched a terrible video that showed by Vice News where McNamara stated it only takes 2 hours for these hornets to destroy and take over the whole hive. Within that, the first hornet bees that was found was in Canada by beekeeper Conrad Buru. How can we help the bees? Easy. There's lots of ways. You can help by planting flowers that are natural to your environment. You can also plant mint or lavender. You can shop at your local farmer's market. The other thing I've seen is where you can even buy a bee house for $9.99 on Amazon. Some of the more productive ways is to become a beekeeper with our local Volusia County Beekeepers Group, or even work with some of the higher ones with Bee Downtown. Leah Catherine Boner works with AT&T, Delta, and Chick-fil-A with placing beehives in their corporations. Whenever you see a bee, don't freak out. They're not going to hurt you. Maybe they're just going to buzz by to say hi and give you a sweet later on.